100.3 Phillies R&B DNA here with some pivotal players of the Mural Arts organization. We have Mr. Chad and we have Miss Medina. Thank you guys for coming out. Nice to meet you. How you doing today?
Feeling good. Thanks for having us.
Great.
Awesome. So Chad, you are the senior director of communications and brand management. Talk a little bit about your role and what you do there at Mural Arts.
Yeah, so I'm a member of the executive team. I oversee two departments, our communications department as well as our tours and merchandise department. And my role is basically like head storyteller. I'm meant to be able to amplify the mission of the organization, to try to grow our audience, and to demystify what we mean when we say art ignites change. And so it's really about, especially this year, as we celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Congratulations. That's huge. 40 years.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
You know, as we celebrate 40 years of impact, public art, civic engagement, when you include the foundational years of the Philadelphia Anti-Graffiti Network, which was created in January of 1984, my job with my team is to just help tell those stories, tell the city and the world what we do and why what we do is impactful.
Amen. And then we have Medina, who is the programmatic and public events manager. So talk about your day-to-day and what's what it looks like being in your shoes.
So as a programmatic and public events manager, I work underneath Chad with Mural Arts. Mural Arts is a very event-driven organization, so a lot of the murals you see out in the city end with an event, but then along the process there might be workshops, panels, paint days through our different programmatic departments that are putting up these murals through the work that they're doing throughout the year. And then on top of that, I also get to curate a lot of events, a lot of times with the themes that Chad and the communications department put together. So like this year, like you said, it's Roots and Reimagination is our theme. So a lot of the public programs that I've been able to curate, I try to keep that theme and morph it into telling our story as well as the things that we have going on. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I don't know if this was intentional, but there weren't any African Americans in the leadership of Mural Arts. So you coming there in 2020 and becoming the first Black director of communications. Talk about breaking that barrier and what do you do, or what do you both want to do to increase DEI within Mural Arts?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I moved to Philadelphia in January of 2020, 2 months before the pandemic hit. I was trying to rub elbows, shake hands, and then Dr. Fauci was like, no shaking hands, no rubbing elbows, 6 feet distance, right? And I was surprised that there hadn't been, a person of color in the communication director role in the city that's so Black and brown.
Yeah.
And I think, that tends to be a lot of, white women in the communications director roles in general that I've kind of noticed over time. And so I, called that out kind of directly as part of my interview process,
Yes,
explaining that, as an award-winning actor, filmmaker, musician, that I could bring some transferable skills and values, but also as a Black man in a city that is, predominantly Black and brown, that I'd be able to bring a certain type of emotional intelligence and a certain cultural lens that would be helpful in how we shape our stories. In fact, I said that, I've worked at other organizations where the communications team was predominantly white, and they were shaping narratives about Black and brown people through the people they were providing services for, and I thought that it was missed opportunities. And so to be the first man and the first person of color to serve in my role, I think is a great opportunity for the organization. I'm glad that they went with me because I think there's a lot of value that is both, intangible, but some of it is also, you can feel and see it too. And so as someone who's in charge of managing the brand, and a brand is about how people feel about something, I am enjoying that I'm able to kind of, now the comms team is the most diverse it's been in history. And, people who remember the fact that the Philadelphia Anti-Graffiti Network was created by our first Black mayor, Wilson Goode, and that it was ran by the executive director at the time, Tim Spencer, the late Tim Spencer from Mantua community. A lot of people remember those early days were a bunch of Black and brown people who were doing a lot of that work. And then, Jane Golden came in and she kind of brought the Mural Arts program and grew that, and that turned into what we have today. But I will say this, is that the organization as a whole is quite diverse. We have, all kinds of people from all types of backgrounds, whether they're artists or project managers or director level folks. But as far as the executive team, yeah, I mean, being the only person of color on the executive team is just the first step, and I think the direction the organization is going in general, because there is, I think, a sincere appreciation for the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging.
That was a mouthful. You gave me a lot about the history of Mural Arts as well as some of your tenure here, but I want to stick specifically to you guys' tenure, right? Ladies first.
Right.
I want you to tell me what is the most memorable moment during your tenure here at Mural Arts.
Most memorable? I feel like they're
If you
still
can't give me
happening.
one, you can give me a couple.
No, I honestly, they're still happening. Like, I think coming into Mural Arts, like, my background in terms of events was more so like contracted work and like doing my own events and different things and like working in different other organizations on like internship bases and everything. So this was my first full-time job doing event management, like 40 hours a week plus. And Mural Arts does so many different things that I've been able to just do so many different things, from press conferences to Mural Arts Fest, which just happened this weekend. Last year was the first time where I got to sit and actually curate a whole music festival and like execute it and like see it come to fruition. And then this year I got to build on that and repeat that process. So like I'm still having extremely memorable moments with Mural Arts every single day. And even just this year, our 40th anniversary press conference, like that was something that, while I had helped with a lot of the press conferences leading up to it, we would work with our previous PR team and we would collaborate and build that out. This year I pretty much got to outline the whole press conference and see that executed, and over 200 people came just to see us celebrate 40 years. So every day is a memorable day, and I'm trying new things. I get to experiment, and I think that's the beauty of working for an arts organization is they give you the freedom to be creative, and they look at you as you were put in this position for your mind and for your creativity, so they expect that from you. And I appreciate the trust that I've been given, as well as just like the mentorship that I've been given too, because I'm also like one of the youngest people in a management position in the organization. So it's just been a journey and a ride, and I'm still going.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, Chad, you've been around for, so Mural Arts has been together for 40 years. You have been around for 10% of that, which I could argue was the most impactful piece of that pie. What has been your favorite story to tell in the 4 years that you've been with Mural Arts?
Favorite story to tell? Well, one of my favorite stories to tell, which is kind of really connected to my purview, is having created a brand statement and a new slogan. So, the organization's mission is that through participatory public art, we inspire change in people, place, and practice to make a more just and equitable Philadelphia. And that sounds very lofty. It's very nonprofit-y, but it's not really clear exactly how we do it, right? And so a brand statement, unlike a mission statement, because a mission statement is more like a North Star, for the staff. Right. A brand statement is like a promissory note to the public, to your audience, to your clientele about what it is of value that you offer to whom and how. And so the brand statement is that Mural Arts Philadelphia exists to provide transformative experiences, progressive discourse, and economic stimulus to the city of Philadelphia through participatory public art that beautifies, advocacy that inspires, and educational programming and employment opportunities that empower. And what came out of that was our new slogan, beautify, inspire, and empower. And I love that it now permeates through our printed and digital materials. And I think one of the biggest highlights for me as the person who manages the brand was when we were on Abbott Elementary last March, which I think was like right when you started.
It was the week that I started that happened,
And so to be able to, and the episode was called Mural Arts, and people got to learn a little bit about what we do through that television show. And as, again, a filmmaker and a screenwriter, to be able to work with Warner Brothers to ensure that the brand was recognized accurately was really cool. So for me, it's the branding of the organization and what I feel like I've been able to contribute with my kind of own world, my own skills and my own worldview and my own cultural lens. I think that kind of sums it up. But there's so many, we do so much in in any given day, week, month. It's almost hard to pick one thing.
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. You guys work with a plethora of talent, whether that be actors, actresses, musicians, and all of that good stuff. We're at a radio station, right? So let's get into the music. Is there any, if any, artists that put you in the mood to be creative? It could be an album. It could be a song that you have on repeat. Anything.
Well, I'm a big Roots fan,
Okay.
and Tariq Trotter, Black Thought, is on our board. You know, so shout out to Tariq, and we honored him at Wall Ball. But I definitely listen to a lot of the Roots. I'm into jazz a lot, so I listen to a lot of Robert Glasper,
Okay.
for example. Who else? Kendrick Lamar. I listen to like Kendrick.
I feel like right now specifically, I'm a big music head. So like right now, I've been K-Tronada has been getting me in the mood to get going. Like his newest album, I've been just vibing on that, and I missed the concert this past week, and that was very depressing. But like it's like one of those things where it makes me feel good. It gets me ready for my day. Like I've had that on repeat for about 2 weeks straight.
Okay.
Right now, I have on repeat the Auditorium Volume 1 with Common and Pete Rock.
They were just up here, too.
Yeah, I saw them. I went to the concert. That was dope.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Common fan. And I've always loved Pete Rock. I mean, he's one of the GOATs as well. So, yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful, man. So obviously we got a list of events that are happening in the Q4 of this year. Anything specific that comes to your mind that you are looking forward to or that you want the people to get out to?
Yes, so like I just said, we just had Mural Arts Fest this past weekend, so if anybody got to come out to that event, thank you so much for coming out and enjoying it. This week alone, we do have on Thursday an event going on at Rec Philly downtown. It's our second part of a 3-part speaker series that I've been curating along with our Mural Arts Institute, and we'll be discussing basically Mark Lautney, and he is our fellow for restorative justice this year, and he's a previously incarcerated person, and while he was away in prison, he did 800 portraits of his inmates.
Oh, wow.
And he just wanted, it started as like just something fun to do to pass the time, but then it just began to have more of a meaning as he was like hearing different people's stories while they were inside and wanting to just showcase them and like show them in like their rawest form. And so he's now out of prison and he's recreating the project but doing portraits of people in support of criminal justice reform. So we'll be speaking with him. Our social media manager, Darnell Schofield, will be moderating the conversation as somebody that was also previously incarcerated, and him and Mark have that in common because they were in prison at the same time together.
Okay.
And then we also have Eddie Sanchez, who is one of our artists that worked with our restorative justice program through our SEI Phoenix program, who was wrongfully incarcerated for over 20 years. And so he will also be in the panel with some other people, John Lee, and last name Salute, I'm forgetting her first name, but she works with the Eastern State Penitentiary.
Okay.
And so it's going to be a really great dynamic conversation around criminal justice reform and like how art can impact prisoners' life while inside, but then also impact criminal justice reform and public art moving forward. So if you have time to come out to that, it's at 7 p.m. at Rec Philly.
Yeah, Rec Philly has been a partner this whole year. We had our 40th anniversary press conference there, and then we're having these Mural Lab Live series. At the end of the month, October 26th, we have a culminating event at Rec Philly. It's going to be kind of a party to celebrate. I'd be remiss if I don't give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, TD Bank. And so they're the sponsor of Mural Arts Month this year. We also have Pico is
highlighting some. So Pico is sponsoring these workshops that are happening at Love Park. So we partner with the Department of Parks and Rec, and they have a shipping container there, and we're going to be doing these artist workshops outside called the Mural Arts Workshop Hub. And so Phoebe Bachman, the project manager, has a bunch of dynamic artists that are coming to just teach different classes and workshops for a couple of hours every Saturday this month. This Saturday coming up is going to be an illustration workshop, which should be really fun. And they did a clay workshop last week, which seems to be going really well. And it's a free event, so people can just come, vibe out, learn about art, do some things, bring kids. It's really nice.
Yeah, we have a lot of things that kind of overlap. For example, also on Saturday, we have a culminating event for a project called We Here that we've been doing in Kensington with artist Roberto Lugo. And so we're wanting to get a crowd at this event. It's going to be kind of a forum, and it's going to feature Rob, as well as Tony Award-winning playwright and poet Lemon Anderson, followed by a roundtable on the arts, behavioral health, and community well-being. I think that's one of the things I also really love about Mural Arts is that I think they're really a world leader, in my opinion, on how to have very important conversations, but frame it around, art.
Yeah.
Some people say it's like a social services organization that uses art as a vehicle. And that's why we can have a restorative justice department where we can combat recidivism through art, or that we can have a porch light program, which is through the Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services, and have an artist, art component. So yeah, it's a lot. We do a lot.
We do a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a lot for the average person. It doesn't feel like, from when you hear Mural Arts, you just think of like this is an organization for artists, but this is for anybody.
It's for everybody.
There's a lot of components in which the average mind wouldn't think that it cross sectors into. But as you guys have seen, there's a lot of stuff going on. Especially October is going to be October 10th. Right, that's a Thursday at Rec Philly. So get down there for that event. And where can they find you all at on social media?
So on Instagram at Mural Arts. When I started, we had like 82,000 followers. Now we're at 102,000 followers. So a lot more people know about what we do. But continue to follow us. Same thing on Twitter and Facebook. I guess it's called X now, right?
And we're on TikTok too.
Yeah, we're on TikTok.
Okay.
So you can see pretty much recaps of everything we got going on. We advertise some of our events on there. Every Monday we put out a reel on Instagram too, talking about what we have going up this week. So definitely follow us on social media, because that's a great way to stay up to date. And then we have a specific site for Mural Arts Month. So it's muralarts.org/Mural Arts Month.
Yeah.
And so that will have all the events we have coming up for this month specifically.
And that includes also like all of our sponsors. Can't name them all, but for Mural Lab Live, Glen Mead is the sponsor for that. And a really big one that people will learn more about is that we're having this week a dedication for a new mural honoring Jill Scott. And so that's going to be at Girls High School. And so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, she's going to be there. We're excited. We're very excited. Yeah.
As am I. Is there anything that I've left out that you guys want to speak on? I know, again, congratulations for 40 years.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
You guys have any lasting words?
I would say that, obviously we are approaching a big presidential election. And, democracy, some will say, is at stake. Some will say, I will say it again. Some will say that democracy is at stake. And so I think it's really important that people engage in, the democratic process of, letting their voice be heard through their vote. And we do have a series of voting-centric murals that are currently in Love Park called To the Polls. But we also have a mural dedication coming up. Do you remember the date?
22nd.
October 22nd at 11 a.m. And folks can learn more, but it's going to be of a mural called Philly Votes. And it is focused on, it's going to be the first permanent mural dedicated to the power of voting and the importance of it. And so we would just say that as an organization that is mission-driven and focused on social impact, one of the best ways to do that, if it's not through the power of art, is through the power of voting.
Correct. And that mural is done by Takira Mitchell, who's a teaching artist with our art education department. And the mural is called Legacy in Bloom, and she's an amazing artist. So if you want to come and see the mural, I definitely suggest you come out and look on our website for the location, but it's 11 a.m. October 22nd.
Medina, the Programmatic and Public Events Manager, and Chad, Senior Director of Communications and Brand Management. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
It's 100.3 Philly's R&B. We out of here.